Well, we talk about a lot of lighthearted things on this show. Roller Girls is one of them, but sometimes we go a little more serious, and that's what we're going to do right now.
Last year, human trafficking was most prevalent in Africa and the Middle East, but the numbers are also staggering in the U.S. Even social media sites and gaming systems can put kids at risk.
Our guests join us from the Set Me Free Project. Stephanie Olson and Cindy Hultine is here. Thanks for stopping by this morning.
Nice to meet you both. Good morning.
Nice to meet you.
We're talking, it's a very serious topic. We're talking human trafficking. And when I think of human trafficking, and tell me if this is what we're talking about here, I think of somebody being abducted, taken somewhere, and held against their will to do things that they don't want to do. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, that's a very common perception, and we've seen the movie Taken, and that's what we think of a lot. What typically happens, though, is a grooming process, and that's why our kids are so at risk, and that's what we try and teach kids and parents. So it's usually a friend or family, somebody they know.
Somebody you wouldn't expect.
Exactly.
That wouldn't have your child's best interest at heart, so you trust them.
Exactly.
So then you're caught off guard. So if we think about this as a global problem in Omaha, how prevalent is it?
You know, Omaha is a hot spot for trafficking, unfortunately.
It's a hot spot.
It is. And we think of Omaha as a very safe community, and it is, you know, to some extent, but when it comes to sex trafficking, we see a real huge problem here.
Why? What do you point to?
Well, some of the problem is that I-80, you know, we're right next to two huge interstate systems, so that makes it a little bit easier for transport and things like that. But I think part of the problem is that we live in a real comfortable place in Omaha. And so a lot of us, moms, dads, we would never think that this would happen to our children, and we let our guards down a little bit.
Is this, in Omaha, is it a situation where there's a highly sophisticated network of people trafficking kids and teens? Or is this maybe a friend who decides to get into this and like you said, grooms that individual for this?
Yeah, it can be both. We do see a very big network. It's a huge business. They're good at what they do.
Like billions of dollars a year.
Billions, actually. Sex trafficking and labor trafficking alone is a $150 billion business. Yeah.
Cindy, how do traffickers get to kids? What are some of their tactics that for the parents and grandparents watching now, you say be on the lookout for this?
So the traffickers are getting the kiddos through social media sites. So we do have some rules. When we go into the schools, we have some rules such as you can only have 200, a maximum of 200 friends or followers, and every person that they choose to have a friend or as a follower, they need to know them. They need to be able to put their hand on their shoulder. They need to have that interaction with that contact.
Otherwise, they just trust the picture, and the picture isn't always the person. They don't understand that somebody could have saved a random photo online, used it as a profile picture. They're not really your age. They don't really go to that school. That profile, it's a joke. I mean, like they don't understand that it's not real, and so they automatically trust. So how are you saying then to parents to go through with their kids to filter some of that stuff out if they're over 200?
Absolutely. If you have to go in with your kids to keep them safe, and it doesn't matter how old they are, we have to be parents. We have to be monitoring everything that they're on. Go through their phones, their computers, their iPads, check every app and check every person, because these are our children, and there are predators preying on our children.
We want to talk about something important. February 9th, you're going to talk to parents about this. Explain what's happening and how parents can get involved.
On February 9th at Westwood Church, they are being very generous in hosting an event for parents. And we're going to be talking about the dangers of human trafficking, the dangers of social media, and how to keep your kids safe. We're going to give some real practical tips on not only what's happening out there in the community, but what they can do as parents to keep their kids from ever seeing the dark of trafficking.
We also encourage parents to host their own events,
Yes.
get the facts, and then educate one another.
Yes.
The website is setmefreeproject.net, and if you have any questions at all, you're welcome to email or call the information there on your screen. They're also on Twitter and Facebook if you want to get engaged on social media.
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming in, and we didn't even get to the Werthers, but Mike's going to get some candy. They promised him.
No, but seriously, we just scratched the surface on this.
Yes.
There's a lot more to discuss, and you can go to the website, setmefreeproject.net. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet
We
you
appreciate
both.
it. You
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks.
The roast